How's it going, everybody? This is Audible Sportscast. It's been a while. Got Brett and
Yeah.
Jeff here. We apologize that it's been a while. I've been dealing with some sickness. We had some technical difficulties not too long ago, but now we're back and we're feeling good. And everyone else, just stay safe out there. A lot of stuff's going around. Just, cover your mouth when you sneeze, when you cough, and let's have a good holiday time.
Yep.
But
Nice to be back.
oh yeah, it's great to be back. It's been a while since we've talked football. It's been a while since I've kind of watched football. I've not been able to watch a lot of football while I was down, so it's nice to get kind of back into a little bit of a groove. Can't say the same for the NFL. Kind of seems like there's definitely been a COVID outbreak in the NFL. A lot of games this week been switching, moving around, and it's coming down. It's coming down to the wire. A lot of these teams too that have been in the switch of are kind of fighting for a spot in the playoff. There's a lot of teams in the hunt, especially in the AFC. So, I mean, I think we should just go straight into talking about some of these games.
Yeah.
So, first off, we got the Saturday night game. Now that college football's done, we can have some games on Saturday. We have the New England Patriots coming into Indianapolis to play the Colts, which I think will be maybe the best game of the week. I don't know. It's definitely up there.
It should be a very interesting game. I mean, I'm torn, but I think I'm going to go New England just because of how they've been playing as of late. Both teams are playing good, but I'm going to go New England on this one.
Yeah, I was thinking New England, having Bill Belichick led defense against, a team that does kind of struggle in certain situations when you look at Indianapolis, sometimes they can be a pretty good, full offensive type team, but then times you kind of question what they're even doing. But I think after watching the game against Tampa Bay, however many weeks ago that was, that's probably the last game I've watched, to be honest. But I think they are capable of playing a really good game. That defense has looked really good and can step up. I'm gonna go Indy here.
It could go either way, but yeah, I'm leaning towards New England, so that's where I'm going.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be a really good game, a potentially low scoring game with the way both these teams kind of play. But I think it'll be a fun little game to watch.
I think they'll outscore the Texans and Jaguars game, but just saying that.
Oh, that'll be a whole nother thing to talk about when we get there. Next up, we got the Carolina Panthers heading to the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills team that's been struggling. There's been reports that supposedly Josh Allen's been in a walking boot all week. Can the Bills kind of get back on pace to get back into this playoff hunt? I mean, right now they're the last seed in the AFC, but they gotta start winning some games if they want to get into the playoffs. Which is crazy to think because for a while they were the team to beat.
Yeah, that's true. But I think Carolina's been struggling themselves, so I think I got to go Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo at home definitely. The Panthers offensively at least have just struggled. They've went through Cam. You got Cam Newton who's been struggling a lot. That PJ Walker who's been having a lot of playing time, and I mean Sam Darnold is looking like he might come back here soon. So it's a team that it is in this little playoff push or playoff in the hunt, but it's been a struggle, especially with Chris McCaffrey injured again. The defense has been a little bit on the struggle bus. I gotta go Buffalo here.
Yeah, me too.
Next up, we got a game that a lot of people aren't really talking about because there's no reason to talk about it. We have the Arizona Cardinals coming into Detroit to play the 1-11-1. That's the greatest record probably ever in NFL history. Detroit Lions.
Pretty easy one on this, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Detroit. Sometimes they fight in some of these games, but against Arizona, this should be a very easy win for
I think they'll put up some points, but I think Arizona wins easily.
I mean, they should, but I think they will. So it'll be interesting. Kind of, I see how this game goes. Arizona. It seems like at times kind of picks and chooses when to play really well. At least from some of my viewing experience. But it's Detroit we're talking about. So yeah,
Yep.
Arizona's got this one. Next up, we got a very interesting game. A game a couple weeks ago, maybe we would have a hard time picking. But we got the New York Jets coming into Miami to play the Dolphins. Dolphins, who are on a very good winning streak right now, and are, after looking on, the struggle bus, are in all of a sudden the playoff hunt in the AFC. So, what do you think about this game?
I'm gonna go with the Dolphins just because it's lesser of two evils, and I'm not saying, and it's just the same. I'm using that as the reference here because the Jets are just really screwed up at the moment.
Zach Wilson doesn't really,
And they're putting him in, and they basically said we don't like you, but he's their only option, pretty much. So, kind of puts them at.
He's been in a very big struggle his rookie year. A lot of the rookie quarterbacks are struggling, but it seems like he's just, some of the throws he makes, you have to question what he's even doing.
Yeah, but who he's thrown to is the other problem.
Yeah, they went out and got Corey Davis, but
They haven't really had you could say Robbie Anderson, but it's the one thing that Jets have been struggling with for years. A lot of good receivers, but no genuine number one.
yeah, that team right now is definitely on a big struggle bus.
Yep.
So Dolphins, they're winning. They're winning at the right time. Let's see if they make it to the playoffs.
And I think the Dolphins have more talent on their roster. So
Tua's been looking, a lot better. That defense has been balling out. So it seems like they're in a pretty good position right now. Next up, we got Dallas Cowboys in a little NFC East matchup, going against the New York Giants. The Cowboys should at least just keep trucking.
Yeah, I don't think the Giants are a roadblock here.
No, they've been struggling a lot. Mike Glennon's been playing for them, which every Bears fan knows what he's like.
Yeah, no, that's exciting.
But yeah, Cowboys have been looking pretty good. They've had a couple stumble blocks, but they're looking like one of the top teams right now coming out of the NFC.
Oh yeah. They at the moment, yes.
So the Cowboys seem to always choke in the playoffs. So we'll see how if and when that happens. But yeah, Cowboys I think have this one pretty easily.
They should, yes.
Should. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. Which is why this next matchup is pretty interesting. We got another NFC matchup. Both two teams, 6 and 7, fighting for a playoff spot. We have the Washington football team going into Philadelphia to play the Eagles. This is a tough one.
I don't think I've picked Philadelphia maybe once all year, but I think I gotta pick them. I don't know. I just feel like Washington's had some injuries, and I just don't. I don't know.
They're also one of the teams that have been highly affected from kind of COVID this week too. That's something you have to keep in mind.
Yeah.
I think that alone. I think Heineke is even on the COVID list. I could be wrong on that, but I'm gonna go Eagles too. I think they're looking all right to say the least.
Yeah. They're not like extraordinary, but I think in this case they just squeak out a win.
Oh yeah. Washington, just when you look at what they're kind of dealing with, it's kind of an uphill battle for them. But I gotta go Philly.
Yep.
Next up, we got a pretty interesting matchup. We have Tennessee Titans going into Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. I've kind of been going back and forth on this game. I mean, Pittsburgh has been in some very interesting games, but Tennessee too has been, even though they're 9-4, they're kind of a little bit on the struggle bus.
I gotta go Tennessee.
I mean, Julio Jones is back off of all the injuries that him and A.J. Brown should help a lot. But, especially you're going to need them against a defense like Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it should be a pretty good game.
It should, but I'm going to go Pittsburgh at home. Ben, I mean, you don't know what Big Ben's going to show up.
That's true.
I think that Steelers defense is definitely. I mean, didn't really see it last week against Minnesota. They ran all over, but I think this will be a good bounce back game for them. Yeah, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
Well, we could have an interesting week.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of these games this week, or you kind of a lot of playoff spots are on the line. A lot of games that could really go either way, or at least look like it. So it's getting to the fun of football. Games are, I don't want to say matter more, but they kind of matter more because you can see kind of where things land with a win or a loss. So it's the fun part of the NFL, and these next couple weeks are going to be very fun when watching football.
Yeah, it should be fun. Yeah, absolutely.
But next up, we got a game we mentioned a little bit earlier, a potential interim head coach equals win game. We have the Houston Texans going into Jacksonville to play the Jaguars, 2-11 teams, and Jacksonville fired this week Urban Meyers, their head coach, for numerous reasons that we don't really have to get into, but seems like interim head coaches always get the win in their first game.
I was thinking Houston, but that's me on this one.
I mean, it's hard going Houston. They said how Davis Mills is going to start the rest of the year. He hasn't really.
I know, it's just one of the. Either it's Trevor Lawrence, really.
No, but maybe that interim head coach will finally get someone to let James Robinson run the ball. It seems like he's forgotten about in a lot of games for some reason.
Yeah, he is forgotten about.
I'm gonna go Jacksonville at home. Picking a lot of home games, it feels like, but sometimes I just you get into December and sometimes home field in some of these situations matter more.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, yeah, I'm sticking to the interim head coach. Seems to always get the win in their first game. So we'll see if that trend continues, or if that's even a trend and I'm not making it up. But next up, we got two teams once again trying to fight for a playoff spot during the playoff hunt, both 7-6. So it's a very key matchup coming out of the AFC. We have Cincinnati Bengals coming into Denver to play the Broncos. We know Cincinnati can be this kind of high-octane offense. Denver at times struggles to beat that, but here we are, week 15, same record. How what are you thinking about this one?
I gotta go with Cincy.
Yeah, it's hard not to pick Cincy, but this Denver team fights in some of these games. But at the same time, a lot of their wins have been against lesser teams. Yeah, they do have wins against teams like Dallas go Cincinnati too. It just sometimes you just gotta look on paper, and
It's just, yeah, it's just what it is.
it is what it is. I mean, I could see Denver winning this game, but everyone's starting to love Cincinnati. They're kind of pulling for them to win, to go to the playoffs, maybe even potentially win the division. I mean, that division still is kind of up in the air, especially with, it seems like each week Baltimore continues to get more injured.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm gonna go Cincinnati too. But next up, we got another one right here. We got the Atlanta Falcons going into the West Coast to play the San Francisco 49ers. A big travel game when you look at this East versus West Coast. But what do you got here?
I don't know. It's a tough one.
It is. I mean, both teams kind of put up some really nice games, but struggle at the same time.
Who are you going with?
I'm gonna go with home dog here, or not dog. I don't think I think they're projected to win, but I'm gonna go San Francisco. Kittle, since he's been back, has been balling out,
Yeah, I'm going to go Niners too.
and this could turn into a tight end game when you look at Kyle Pitts on the other side. But I think just that 49ers, team is just a little bit better. I mean, they have a lot of weapons on that offense. When you look at Deebo Samuel, who you can hand it off to, who you can throw it to, George Kittle.
Yeah, he can kind of do
Brandon
everything for
Ayuk
you.
has been, getting a lot more, it seems like. Plus that defensive front should be in Matt Ryan's face all day. So, I think this will be a fun game, but I see the 49ers winning it. But next up, we got a fun little AFC versus NFC game. One in which we got the Green Bay Packers heading into Baltimore to play a very injured Baltimore Ravens team. It's really up in the air that Lamar Jackson's going to play, if he will. I mean, he has never lost to an NFC team, but there's a lot of question on if he'll play, and if he does, he definitely won't be at 100%. And now he has to go up against, potentially the MVP in Aaron Rodgers, who's been balling it out each week. What do you think? What do you think?
I got to go Packers in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much complete opposites when you look at these teams. The Packers are actually getting a lot more healthy, while the Ravens just seem to every week get more and more injured. And just the Packers are...
And it's the chance of, Lamar Jackson doesn't play, then it's kind of a don't even talk about a game anymore.
Yeah. I don't know, just Packers, the Packers are so hot right now, it's hard not to pick them, no matter where the game is, no matter who they're playing. So
That's true.
I got to go Green Bay. And guessing you're going Green Bay as well.
That's right. Yeah, I said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just double check.
Oh, no, it's fine. Yeah. Going Packers.
Go Pack, go. You don't want to ever hear me say that again, though. But next up, in the Sunday night game, we have good old NFC South matchup. We got the New Orleans Saints heading to Tampa Bay to play Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Normally the Saints have the Buccaneers pretty well, but Taysom Hill's a starting quarterback now after some stuff. Sean Payton might not even be able to coach. He's been dealing with some COVID. It's hard not to just pick the Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm picking Tampa just because of consistency and Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to not say Tom Brady. I know the Saints, no matter who was their starting quarterback, when Jameis Winston went down, and then even, you had Trevor Siemian come in for Jameis Winston when he got hurt and was able to beat the Bucks. But I don't think this game will be like that. They've, New Orleans been struggling. You got the Sean Payton issue now. You got to go Tampa Bay.
Yep.
But next up, we got a Monday night doubleheader. Some of these games being moved. One of these games being moved is to Monday. So this game, we got the Las Vegas Raiders heading to Cleveland Browns.
Well, Baker's out, right?
Last I checked, there's potentially 20 possible players that don't play for Cleveland.
Yeah, I'll pick the Raiders then.
Yeah, when you have that many players that don't play, it's hard not to. I know they moved it back, so potentially more of those players could play, but there's still going to be a good chunk of them that don't, including Baker, which I believe even their head coach is on the COVID little bug. I could be wrong on that, but I think a couple of their coaches have it too, which, when players start to have it and coaches, it's not good because you don't have anyone to play or coach. So, Cleveland's in a really bad situation. This is a kind of a must-win for them, considering, kind of the playoff situation. So it's tough that they're in this situation.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I got to go Las Vegas just in the sheer fact they're, healthier in the terms of, less. So, I mean, they do need.
Yeah, but that could change tomorrow. So.
Yeah, that could easily change. And I know, and they kind of need, a little bounce back game after the embarrassment they had against Kansas City. Going to the, 50-yard or the middle of the field and then getting beat by nearly 40 or however that final score was. So they need a game like this kind of to get back in the swing of things if they want to make it to the playoffs. But yeah, Vegas, Cleveland, just too COVID right now, to say the least. But
everything's too COVID right now, but
oh yeah,
we're not going to go there.
But next up, speaking of teams that are covered up, we have the Monday night game. We have the Minnesota Vikings coming into Chicago to play the Bears, which the Bears right now don't have a single coordinator who isn't on the COVID list. So I guess we're going to see, how good of a coach is Matt Nagy. He's going to have to coach at all three levels, it looks like.
I'm going Vikings.
Yeah, just the sheer fact of having no coordinators, I kind of go Vikings. I know Allen Robinson and Eddie Jackson aren't going to play either because of COVID, and I'm sure that number will go up. But the Vikings seem like they haven't really dealt with it at all this week. They're one of the few teams that haven't had an outbreak. So in this situation, that helps them, and they're another one of those teams in the playoff hunt in the NFC. So could be a very key, big win for them. Playing.
It could be. Yeah.
Can we see primetime Kirk? We saw it last year. Can we see it again? He's
Maybe.
always struggled in the primetime or in playoff situations. So who knows? Maybe this will change things.
Maybe.
But yeah, I'm gonna go Minnesota too. It's just too many too many coordinators out for my liking.
Yep.
But next up, we have some Tuesday games we get to talk about. It seems like there's football all week round with COVID. But for the first game, we have the Seattle Seahawks heading to LA to play the Rams. The Rams, another one of those teams that are on the COVID bug, moving it back, kind of like with Cleveland, does help them.
Rams.
Yeah, it's hard even with the COVID situation not to go Rams. Seattle's struggling mightily, even with Russell Wilson back. It seems like he kind of just wants out of there. It almost seems like that.
Seems like it, or it's just going to happen after this year. I think it's going to happen. And I think
we'll see.
Pete Carroll's reign is coming to an end. It's time for a reboot.
It seems like it's going to be that way, which is unfortunate because it seems like almost my entire football existence of knowing football, they've been good. So it'll be kind of disappointing to see a dynasty fall. Well, a one Super Bowl dynasty could have been more, but they had to throw it on the 1 yard line. But everyone knows that story. Yeah, I got to go LA too. Just Seattle has not done anything well the last couple weeks, and LA had a really good.
I wouldn't say they've done anything great all year.
Yeah, I mean, they've at least won 5 games, so I would consider those 5. They have done at least 5 good things.
Yeah.
But LA's coming off a really good win against the Cardinals. I think they'll keep some of that momentum going. They'll need to. They're trying to still fight for that division, which gives them that at least a home field game in the playoffs versus a wild card they wouldn't. So yeah, I gotta go Rams. I take that back. There isn't. The Washington and Eagles game got moved to Tuesday. That's on me. That's on me for not knowing that and talking about that game earlier. But for all of you listening, Washington football team versus Eagles, that's a Tuesday game. That's on me. But that means there's no more football games to talk about, which you know what that means?
No, but I do like, before you go to the next segment, I do like how football's spread out. We were talking about this earlier, but it'll be nice to watch, if just to even have it on in the background on Monday and Tuesday afternoon.
It does make it nicer to have these games more spread out, so you're not trying to pay attention to, 6 games at once. Those Sunday noon games sometimes can be hard to pay attention to so many at once. So that is a nice concept. It does kind of suck that it is because of COVID that they're having to do this. But maybe they did a little bit last week or last year, doing it again this year a little bit. This is actually kind of the first time they're switching games up. So maybe this will kind of slowly help learn that they can have more games, all the way week round. I know that it is difficult for scheduling, and you can't have so many games back to back. Like, I think this game moving the Eagles game to Tuesday, it gives them 3 games in 12 days, which is, this is a very demanding sport.
That's pretty wild, actually.
That is. So, especially for a team trying to fight for the playoffs, it does make it hard.
Some NBA teams barely play that some weeks.
Yes. But those are the games for the week. Let's move on to our next segment, our Add a Legend, which, for anyone new, we add an NFL legend of NFL past to a certain team to try to give them the best opportunity to win a Super Bowl. They have to be retired, had to have played for the team for at least 4 years. That's really the only stipulations. And this week, we have the Indianapolis Colts. They have long storied past. Used to be in Baltimore, came to Indianapolis. Story old as time. But Brett, who do you think gives them the best opportunity to win a Super Bowl? What player in all of their past does that?
Well, basing on that criteria and the way you said it, I'll have to go Peyton Manning. Just based off of how you phrased it this time. I'm going Peyton Manning.
I mean, Peyton Manning's a good choice. I mean, when you do talk about who gives them the best chance.
Well, because I like Marvin Harrison, I like Reggie Wayne, but I don't think that he elevates them to that tier. Peyton Manning does.
That is true. I mean, Peyton Manning's one of the greatest, quarterbacks of all time. He's a big leader. He does, what he has to do to win. And, we've seen at times Carson Wentz struggle. So, do you, switch out the quarterbacks and put someone in there, is a winner that's going to get...
With Jonathan Taylor, that would be a pretty...
I didn't even think about that. That is a scary matchup. He's had, Edgerrin James, who was a really good running back, but, I mean, there's no better running back in the NFL right now than Jonathan Taylor. With that offensive line, I was thinking about doing, Reggie Wayne for some, wide receiver and
Well, so was I. I
leadership.
switched at the last second, but
I'm gonna go with Peyton Manning too. I think just that combination, and I think Peyton Manning can get the best out of any of those receivers, and not to mention Michael Pittman is looking like a true number one. So I'm gonna go Peyton Manning too. I mean, some consider him one of the greatest quarterback, if not the greatest quarterback of all time. So, that's a very big step up from Carson. I think Carson Wentz is a good quarterback, but anytime you get a chance to put Peyton Manning on a team, you take it. And I took it last time with Denver, and I'm going to take it again with Indianapolis.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I switched at the last second just because of the way you phrased it. I was like, Marvin Harrison doesn't get me there. It just doesn't. It's good. You know what I mean? It just doesn't take him to the next level.
Yep. I mean, you've seen it in a lot of passes. It comes down to the quarterback. Yeah, the rest of the team is important, but the Indianapolis Colts have a really good roster, really good players across the board. So adding Peyton Manning, just oh boy.
Yep.
But that's all we got for you today. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, feedback. Just do all those fancy little things. Social medias will be posted down below. So make sure to follow all of those for any funnies, for any updates on things. We're going to be trying to post a lot more. That's kind of been one of the struggles. So hopefully you get to see. Hopefully you get to see more. Move. Tell us we suck. Tell us we're good. I'll hear it. And just like Michael Jordan, I'll take it personally. But that's all we got for you today. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the fights that are happening. There's some fancy little fights happening this weekend. Enjoy the football. Enjoy the hockey. Enjoy the college basketball. Enjoy sports. There's still a lot of sports going on. Enjoy them. Have a good weekend, everybody.